Good evening. Welcome back to another episode of Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. It's your boy The Don here again. We have a special guest on right now. She's a Hawks executive, Jen Choi. How you doing this evening?
Hey, I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to chatting with you and, sharing some about the Hawks' exciting season. So, yeah, all is well.
Yes, thank you for coming on. Appreciate you coming on. Hey, if you're new to the channel, y'all already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out Atlanta Sports Fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. As always, come holler at your hometown sports podcast. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. So what's tell everybody about your background. Like where you from, how did you
Yeah.
play any sports growing up, anything like that?
Yeah, no. So I'm originally from Chicago. And so I grew up in that 90s Bulls era, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was my childhood. And that's where I like really developed my love of hoops, right?
Where year you was born?
I was born in 86.
Okay, so you're a year
I was
older
like,
than me. So
I
yeah,
was I mean, like I was young, but like that was my first experience with basketball was that, 90s Bulls era. So that was where I started, loving basketball. And I wish I was, athletically gifted. Unfortunately, I was not. I'm not. I'm like 100 pounds and like 5'2". My parents would not let me do any sort of contact sports. So I played some tennis and, but I was always more of a fan of watching rather than playing, just given like my size and lack of athletic talents. Um, and so, I went to college in upstate New York, went to Cornell, and then I lived in New York, LA, San Francisco, and then I moved to Atlanta in August 2019 for this job with the Hawks. Prior to the Hawks, I had like no experience working in sports. I was basically in Silicon Valley and high tech, building interactive experiences across mobile, web, software. My previous job was at Dropbox. Totally different kind of focus and scope. Looking at building software, and then
mm-hmm.
I was like, like sometimes when you're at work and you're like, oh man, I don't know if like this job is for me. Well, I was just at Dropbox and I was like, man, I don't know, like, do I want to do this? Let me just see what else is out there. So I like just got on, online and I just saw this like director of innovation for the Atlanta Hawks. I was like, man, that sounds dope. I don't really know. Like, that's not really what I do, but you know what? Like, I'm just going to drop my resume and see what happens. And so
Mm-hmm.
I did that. So I applied online. So, when you apply online, you kind of like are like, I have no idea. Like, this is going to like a black hole of resumes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like, I got a call. And then, fast forward a month later, I'm moving to Atlanta. So my role is, who is this chick?
Yeah,
um,
just tell him. Yeah, he joined late. Jen, just let him know what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Jen Choi. I'm the Director of Innovation and Impact for the Atlanta Hawks. So I was just talking about how I got this role. I was brought on to start. So the Director of Innovation part is I was brought on to start the first innovation lab for the Hawks, which also includes State Farm Arena, College Park Skyhawks, and then our NBA 2K team, which is Hawks Talent GC. So, the lab is really like a dual incubator accelerator where we test new ideas and concepts that we think are the future of the business. So that could be anything from like new technology to, new revenue streams, new business models, and, new fan experiences. So it's kind of like a sandbox environment where we test all this new, different concepts with fans, and then we get all these data points, and then decide whether we want to move forward with this or not. And then I recently took on DEI Impact, which is looking at diversity, equity, inclusion, but not internally, but in the community. So my role there is driving the economic empowerment
Mm-hmm.
of all sectors of Atlanta. With the thinking that sports can be a really powerful platform to drive change, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
if you think about like DEI, like we all know there's a problem, right? I think,
Yes.
there's no escaping it. And I think in my role, we're like, well, what are some of the root cause issues, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
around like driving economic empowerment, whether that's like lack of access to capital or like, lack of access to resources, supporting Black entrepreneurs, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
how do we drive the economic empowerment of the city, like our external constituents. So
Yes.
something I'm super passionate about. I've always been super passionate about social justice issues and things like that. So it's really like my dream role.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad saying it because a lot of people like don't like their jobs, but like I feel like I have my dream job. Um,
Yeah, it
where
sounds
I
like
left
it's a great job. Like trust and believe. I looked at your title and I'm like, wow, this is something that I would love doing. So
Yeah, no, it's literally a dream come true because, how, like the reason I took it, right? Like how often do you get, an opportunity to work, for an NBA franchise that's, undergoing, a significant rebuild. And we saw the fruits of that labor, right?
hmm
This season with our incredible playoff run.
yeah,
But I was like, how often does that opportunity come? So I left, I took a salary cut. I left my like cushy Silicon Valley job and, moved to Atlanta where I don't know anybody
hmm
for this kind of, what I consider like a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like, no way I'm
right,
turning it down.
exactly. I agree with you on that. So you grew up in Chicago, and I'm gonna be honest with you. If I went to school in Missouri, okay, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised, but I went to school in Missouri for a little bit, and I had a roommate who was from Chicago. He lived at Blue Island. I don't know if you know that area. That's South Side Chicago, I believe.
No, I don't know that area that well.
You grew
No,
up. Which side you grew up in? North side, west
like
side?
northwest of the city.
Oh yeah, you grew up in the nice. You grew up in the
Yeah,
nice
so
part
like
of Chicago.
I gotta say, like, I'm not really from Chicago, right? When I say that, I'm talking, okay, so like, just I'm from the suburbs of Chicago. I'm
Oh
sorry, I should
yeah, see, yeah, you from the nice part of Chicago. I know what you talk about. I look, I
clarify.
when I was in school, all right, my freshman and sophomore year, I had plans to either, when I was done with school, either move to Chicago or move to Kansas City. The
Okay,
reason was
well, I like Kansas City.
because I love the food for both cities. That's why. The food
Yeah.
is so good. So you probably don't even know the Harold's Chicken or Uncle Remus Chicken places in Chicago.
Not no, and I'll be honest, like I left when I was 18, right?
Uh-huh.
So like, and I never lived there after that. I grew up there, and then I lived, I went to college, then I, moved to New York City.
hmm
So I never even like had like my adult years in Chicago. So I don't even know it very
Right.
well. It's
Yeah.
too cold now.
Oh yeah, it's cold and it's a lot of yeah.
Freezing.
Yeah. Well, I love the cold, but okay. So I was just wanting to test your Chicago, your Chicago knowledge
Sorry,
of
I have
food.
no
So
cred.
that's fine.
hmm
That's fine. So you said you went to Cornell. All right. Um, how? So you probably went to school there from '05 to '09,
04 to '08.
'04 to '08. Okay. 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 Yeah,
Yeah.
because I know I said you said '86 and you okay. And I was born '87, so '04 to
hmm
'08. So what did you major in, and like, were you like involved? I know you said you didn't play any sports or anything like that. Did you do any like sports journalism, or involved in any
No,
other
like
teams there?
nothing. Like when I say I did
Nothing.
nothing, like
You did
nothing
nothing.
sports related at all. I went to school
Okay.
for industrial labor relations because, like, at Cornell, that's like a pre-law theater.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought I wanted to go to law school, and then it turns out I
Yeah.
didn't. So, but it's actually ironic because ILR at
Mm-hmm.
Cornell produces so many like like the commissioner of the NHL, like he's a grad from my school
Yeah.
because you have to learn collective bargaining,
Mm-hmm.
which is an arbitration and things like that, which is like obviously crucial to all the leagues,
Right.
as they negotiate right with their players association and the league and owners and whatnot. So, but I didn't have any, desire or interest. Like, I don't know, back when I was in school, I wasn't like, oh my God, like like my focus was on like, how do I get a good job and make money,
Mm-hmm.
right? It became now my focus later of like, I want to make money but like also do something that's my passion, right? That's a privilege. So it took a while to get there. So like I wasn't even thinking about working in sports when I was in college, and I didn't obviously until now, like I was, in my 30s,
Yeah.
because I wanted something different, I guess.
Okay. We're joined by Jen Choi from the Atlanta Hawks. She's the director of innovation and what's it,
Impact.
impact for the Atlanta Hawks. So, hey, if y'all have any questions, please shoot them our way, and we'll answer them for you guys. All right. So, you mentioned that you was in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, before you made your move here to Atlanta. How long you was out there for, and which companies did you work for when you was out there?
Yeah, I was only there for 9 months actually
Okay.
before I moved to Atlanta, and I was at Dropbox, right? Like the
Dropbox.
cloud storage company,
Mm-hmm.
fancy job, cushy, being all pampered, right, in that Silicon Valley atmosphere.
Yeah.
But like, I wasn't passionate about it. Like, who's passionate about software? I don't know. I'm sure there are people that are passionate about software, but like, for me, it was like, this is a great company, good experience, but it doesn't compare to like my dream job of working in sports. So I was in San Francisco for 9 months. Before that, I was in LA. Sorry, my dog is going crazy.
Yeah, I hear them in the background.
I have no idea why he's going crazy. I don't
You
know.
probably see something outside or something. Doing
Uh,
noise.
sorry about that.
You good? You
Um,
fine?
Prior to that, I was in LA for 3 years.
Mm,
So about almost 4 years in California before I moved to Atlanta. Um, and there I was in consulting.
okay.
So yeah, I basically had nothing really at all, whether it's like me playing or me working in sports.
Mm-hmm.
But like that was by design. I think for my role in innovation, like my boss told me, like he was looking for people specifically that didn't have sports experience.
Yes.
You come in without kind of like the curse of bias, like a fresh perspective.
Yes.
Um, so, yeah.
And
I like,
I think that's good because say for instance, they would hire someone who is a fan, you know, or probably worked somewhere else. They could have probably worked for the Seahawks, or they probably would have worked, from another team, or they're probably a fan, a huge diehard Golden State Warriors fan, or something like that. So I think they made the right hire for that particular position. You
mhm.
know, and like I said, the Hawks organization before Tony Wrestler owned the team I ain't gonna say it was in shambles, but it was just mismanaged just all across the board. We didn't see the Atlanta Spirit. That was the former team owner before the
Mhm.
people. They didn't do a lot of stuff in the community at all. It was
Mhm.
all about them just making money and whatever profits they can put in their pockets. If we just
Yep.
being honest, because they also owned a hockey team here, the
Yep.
Thrashers, and they left. They was barely here 10 years, and they left to go to Canada. So
Right.
I love what Tony Wrestler is doing for the
Mhm.
community. Going around the communities, building up basketball courts and things of that. You know, that's something we need here in the city.
Absolutely. I mean, the Hawks and obviously I was not there when there was the previous ownership, but
Mm,
hearing stories and just from my experience with Tony and his ownership, I just have just tremendous amount of respect for his leadership and vision, both on the court, but as you mentioned, off the court as well. We truly believe that we belong to the city of Atlanta, that we are a civic asset. And if you look, even like the creation of my role, right, just to focus on driving the economic empowerment, right, of our community, I think says
mm,
volumes, as well as, when COVID happened, all of us, it was just so, it was like when it happened in the NBA, like that just dropped, right? And
yeah.
so we were just in such an uncertain time in the way that they, supported us and treated us throughout that too. during COVID, like we weren't on the courts, we were in the community, right?
Yes.
We had voting, and I was one of the pool managers for that, right?
Yes, I was gonna ask you that. So, were you part of that driving force of
Hmm.
them making State Farm Arena the and a polling place?
Well, okay, so the decision came from our CEO, and I think the story that I read in the press was like he had that in like a light bulb moment. But
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the few folks in the organization that drove it, right? So we were like
Mm-hmm.
authorized at like the county level to be pool managers for that site, which was
Yes.
we had 40,000 people come, right, just for the general election. And
Yes.
we had 15 of us working, managing those polls and doing the paperwork. And we had no idea back then, like how much of a spotlight Georgia would be in, right? And then we had the Senate runoff. So we did the Senate primaries, the general election, and the Senate runoff. So we did like
Yes.
all of those. Um, but it truly is, as cliche it sounds, bigger than basketball, right?
Yes.
Like regardless of the product on the court, like we are investing in things outside of the court that doesn't, necessarily even affect or touch, the basketball. Like of course our goal is to win a championship, but we believe we have to do so much more than just that.
People just look at as a team. All right, it's big. It's really big. It's a business. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and
100%.
get what you say.
No, 100%.
It's a business, and a business is supposed to have you supposed to give a service
Mm-hmm.
to the fans. All right, what is that? And a lot of people look at the team. Okay, well they supposed to give tickets. They supposed to put the best players on the court or the field, whatever the case may be. But it branches beyond that. What are you doing for the community? Are you building the community? Are you see this area in the city that's poverty driven? Like, are you trying to pump money or or create organizations to build that you know area up? And we seen Tony Wrestler for his short time here, and Arthur Blank. He's been owning the Falcons for years now. They've been a driving force of fixing that west side of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And not only State Farm was a polling place, but Mercedes Benz was a polling place, and I believe both arenas they also gave out COVID shots and stuff
Mm-hmm.
during when the vaccination came. So y'all really doing a great job, and on behalf of FILA Sports Podcast, I really applaud everything y'all done for the city within this past year.
And like I think we're just getting started, right? Like I was talking to a bunch of folks at the Hawks organization, and I think we all take immense pride, right, in working for an organization that cares so deeply about the community and trying to be, really a service or an asset to the city.
Mm-hmm.
I think for us, the message to ownership is let's keep going, let's raise the bar, right? Like let's keep innovating in this space, right? How else can we be an asset and serve the community, especially when folks need it the most, and how do we address root cause issues that leads to things like wealth creation and new jobs, and we really care about the long-term kind of success, right, of our efforts too. So I'm super excited.
Can
um
I? Can I? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
no, no,
ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, go for it.
Yeah, I was just like I can give some tips. And, I'm a friend of one of the city councilmen, um Antonio. What's his last name? Forgot his last name, but I went to school with him, and I had a conversation with him last week about what are we trying to do for the students that's going back to school. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Um, Now we know now things have changed. When we was in school, you got a back to school, you get a book bag, you get pencils,
Yeah.
paper, all that. Things have changed now. Everything now is on these Chromebooks. Now the kids have Chromebooks. Now some schools give the kids Chromebooks. I understand that, but when they go home, how are they still learning? Because some houses don't have internet,
Right.
and a lot of schools, and I, as a current teacher myself, I understand, but there are some people out there who don't understand that if a kid go home and they got internet, how they gonna do their homework? How they gonna study? How they gonna stay ahead of the curve? So, what are you guys doing for I guess the local schools in that aspect?
Yeah,
Have
well,
y'all
one of
thought
the
about anything like that?
yeah, one of the things I'm working on actually is a joint kind of youth career development program with Emory Sports Medicine. So we've been like ideating on just doing a small pilot program to start, but around a program that exposes middle schoolers to different careers in sports and medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So we're speaking with Fulton County this week, which is really exciting, is to see if we can kind of align with their curriculum and programming for this upcoming school year. But I think like we have a whole youth basketball, youth
Yes.
programs like department right at the Hawks that focuses on, kind of more youth outreach, whether that's through basketball camps or something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm looking at is more career oriented, but I
Yes.
think that's a big opportunity. It's always going to be a big opportunity for us is to kind of reach students. One, I think um, it's much needed, right? Like all the studies say, like, reaching students at a young age, using
Yes.
the lure of professional sports, right, could really
Mm-hmm.
change someone's life. So we want to make sure like we're capitalizing right on that. But I think also like right now, people are excited about the Hawks. There's like a lot of engagement. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and there are people, and so like now that we have more of a presence, I think, and credibility, I'm excited to see some of the things that we can do to engage our youth. Um, but like our corporate social responsibility team, obviously they look at, who are our partners like Boys and Girls Club of Atlanta and
Yes.
whatnot. But, we want to continue those efforts. And so, even right now I'm working on,
Yeah.
a project
It's
just for that purpose.
it's so many youth centers out there in the city. And some of them are doing well. Some of them, just getting by a little bit. And it's it's really up to the parents to send these students out to these youth centers. Like I grew up in the inner city, all right, and I kid you not, every evening after school, I was somewhere, in the youth center doing my homework, learning life skills, all of that, and the students they need that, and I preach this all the time. If you're not, part of any extracurricular activities outside after school, you need to be somewhere in the evening learning something or doing your homework trying to get ahead.
Right.
So like I said, I appreciate everything y'all doing, like I said, for the community, and I hope y'all continue to do well and
Oh,
give
we will.
back. I already know y'all are. Y'all look. I've seen it. I've seen it the past few years. Ever since Tony has taken over as the
Mhm.
owner, I've seen it. Like before they like when the Atlantic Spirit owned the team, because I was growing up when they owned the team. I didn't really see them really do that much. Now I kid you not, they gave away a lot of Thrasher tickets. I went to a lot of hockey games, and I'm a huge hockey fan. So and I was a huge Thrashers fan too. So hey,
My dog Robert, who's making
that's
a ton
fine.
of noise, he just got a haircut. No, I like I said, I can't speak more highly of Tony Wrestler and Jamie Gertz, right? Our principal
Hmm.
owners,
Yes.
just wonderful people
Hmm.
um, that really supported us just from the decisions. Like we pay more than the Braves and the Falcons, right? For our part time staff, the way we treat and support,
Hmm.
like, especially during COVID, like all employees, right? Part time and full time. Again, just their vision for like what we want to do in the community.
Yes.
Obviously we had this amazing run. I'm really inspired by that kind of leadership that they showed,
Yes.
especially during such a turbulent time. Man,
Yes.
like just so much respect for them.
Yes. So let's go ahead and talk about that run the Hawks made in the playoffs. We know they didn't make the finals. And we was hoping, the whole city was hoping that we can at least make the finals. Um,
Listen,
now,
I thought about this a lot, right?
okay,
But you know what? You know what? I'm not gonna make any comments. All I'm gonna say is, future's really bright, right? Like we had
Yes.
some injuries,
Hmm.
you know, but yeah, we were 2 games away.
Hmm. Look, it was like the Braves last year. We were one game away from the World Series, and but the expectations for the Braves last year, the Hawks was like night and day.
Hmm.
Like I did not. No one can sit here and tell me back in January this team was going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, no
If
way.
they sat there, if somebody can sit here with a straight face and tell me that, I'm gonna look at them. I'm gonna call shenanigans, because the team back then, and I knew back then, just and look, I love what Lord Pierce done, for the community. He's a good activist, but far as coaching on the court, he just wasn't the right person. All right. The I love what Nate McMillan is doing with the team. I'm glad y'all gave him a contract extension. Um, like you said, the future's bright. We have the players on the team. We have players on the team. We really don't need to make a blockbuster signing. Just we just need to take care of business in this draft. Get the right person that we can fit in. Nate is going to develop guys like Cam Reddish. Hunter was good before he got injured. You still got Red Velvet. You still got Big O, who we just drafted from USC last year.
Hmm.
Like we're good. You give John Collins a contract and you roll with that. Clint Capella, you may want to keep him for a couple of years until you can find you another big guy.
Hmm.
So I feel like we're good. Like I said, the expectations just it wasn't that high in back
Totally.
then. And
I mean,
now, you going into a new season, in a few months, who knows what can happen next year.
absolutely. I mean, even coming out of the All Star break, right? I
Hmm.
was, you would never be like, oh, this is an Eastern Conference final caliber team, right? But, you know, yeah, like it was just incredible, right? What that very young group of men were
Hmm.
able to do, right? Under obviously Coach McMillan's tutelage and, um, you know, guidance. But it was incredible, man. Like just the excitement in the organization, right? Just, and I'm not from Atlanta, right? So,
Yeah.
I didn't come with any like loyalty to the Hawks, but after working for the Hawks,
You became a
no,
fan.
no matter where I go, I'll always like have the Hawks in my heart because of, our great ownership, just what we were able to do, the things that we stand for. But yeah, future's bright. The guys are young. We had some injuries. DeAndre Hunter will be an elite two-way player. My God,
Hmm.
he's so good. Um,
Yes.
he's gonna once he gets healthy, right? He's just gonna be such an important piece, I think.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh yeah.
but yeah, I'm excited, right? Like now the expectation is, right, we're no longer the underdog. Like we should expect to make the playoffs, right? Every season, I think.
Yeah. And hopefully the league, can catch on and give us more primetime games next year on national television.
I suspect so, right? I mean, they cannot give us, right? We were 2 wins away from going to the championship, game. Like we better
Hmm.
get some more national TV time, I hope.
Exactly. We need to. We need to. So I got another question for you. So you're pretty much an executive, all right, for the organization. I'm calling a spade a spade. So being a woman executive in professional sports, tell me how does that feel, or because we don't really see that many. We just don't.
Hmm.
But you have that title. So tell me how is that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I was working in tech before, so coming to sports, another male dominated industry, wasn't super shocking. I would say when I first started, I would keep count of how many men were in the meeting versus how many women,
Hmm.
just to kind of see. And yeah, I mean, of course, it's male dominated. I would say though, I think the Hawks have a very respectful organization where
Hmm.
I've never internally felt being a woman. did not grant me the respect or so I've never experienced that internally. Now I've talked to other people in the sports industry and the entertainment industry where I was like, oh whoa,
Yeah, you
these
heard them
people are not.
stories.
But like the professionalism in the Hawks organization, I mean, and also the thing is like we care deeply about representation. So that's like a goal. So like you have our HR executives actively looking at that and making sure that we're representation and diversity, right, and equity, those are all kind of prominent. So I don't like when I work internally with colleagues, again, I don't think, at least in my experience, being a woman hasn't, I've never felt hindered by it, other than it's just sometimes like, oh my God, whoa, like there's only like two women in this meeting of like 15 men, right?
Yeah.
um
You're not only just a woman, like you're a woman of color as
Color,
well.
yeah.
So that right there, you very diverse in a male dominant field. And with the Hawks, we Tony, yes, he owns the team, but he let it be known that his wife also has a hand in this as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think Jamie's very, very involved, right? I mean, she's one of our majority
Hmm.
owners, and she's wonderful, right? Like they're just, as people, I think, great, and then obviously that translates to being really great owners.
Hmm.
Yeah, bring a hockey team back to Atlanta. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be, but we know that's not gonna happen because we had two hockey teams here before, and we didn't take care of neither team. So I don't think NHL is gonna give us a third shot. It'll be a long. Only way I told you guys, only way we get a hockey team if a team wants to relocate here to Atlanta. But they're not going to
Yeah,
give us an expansion team.
yeah. And you have like places like Seattle, right, with the Kraken. Like
Yes.
that city's so excited for that team, right? They're like hype and like, that's going to be like I think I'm excited to see that unfold. But
Yeah,
like, yeah, we don't.
you got cities like Seattle that's getting the team. They talking about Quebec bringing because they had a hockey team before. They want to bring hockey back up there, and then you got other cities too, like Kansas City. You got San Antonio. You have other markets too who haven't had a chance to have a hockey team or haven't had a hockey team in a long time. So they're gonna get a shot before we do. Like I said, the only way
Right.
we get a hockey team if the owners of other teams don't want their team anymore, and a guy like Tony Wrestler or Arthur Blank say, "Hey, I'll buy this team and I'm gonna move it here to Atlanta." That's the only way we'll get a hockey team, you guys.
All right. Well, let's channel our messages and manifest the hockey team for Atlanta. The more sports, the better.
Yes, yes,
I didn't
I
actually
love it.
realize how many sports, like when I was watching this opening video and you have like flash all the logos.
Yes.
I didn't realize there were that many teams that like consider like Atlanta is where they play.
Hmm.
I'm not familiar with the college team, so I was like,
You
oh
got
man, it's a lot.
UGA, you got UGA, you got Georgia Tech. Those are your two biggest schools because they SEC Bulldogs, and then you got the ACC Tech Yellow Jackets, and then you also got Georgia State Panthers, and then you also got Georgia Southern Eagles. They're not in Atlanta, but it's a lot of people in Atlanta who went to that school, so we
Gotcha.
cover them as well. And we cover every like professional team and college team like pretty much in the state. So we show love to everybody, and not like I said, I'm forever Atlanta through and through. Like I cover every team. I love every team. If they move here and they have Atlanta on a jersey, or we get a new franchise team and it has Atlanta on it, you best believe I'm supporting it.
So
So
what's your favorite though? Like your favorite Atlanta team?
I'm a football person, so
The Falcons?
it's the Falcons. So I've been a Falcons fan since I can remember, and I love my Braves. I love the Hawks. I love United. When the Thrashers were here, I supported them as
Oh
well.
wow. The Dream. What
Unfortunately,
about, you
would you
forgot
say?
the Dream. You forgot the Atlanta Dream.
The Atlanta Dream. I was gonna get them. I love the Atlanta Dream. I'm trying to get to a game. I never been to one of their games because when they was got started, they got started when I was in college. All right, I never been to an Atlanta Dream game. I planned on going to one last year, but COVID happened, so I'm gonna get to a game one of these days. But I love Atlanta Dream as well. We also have a girls football league. I went
Oh
to one of their
wow,
games in 2019. Yes, I had a couple of other women players on my show as well. So we like I said, we support every team. Now, I can admit I don't like the Bulldogs or Tech. I support them, but those not my schools. My
gotcha.
my favorite college is Michigan.
Okay,
So
why?
A Desmond Howard. That's all I can tell
Okay,
you.
gotcha. So it's like because of
Desmond Howard. Yes, Desmond Howard back in the day, back in '91. So
got it.
that's my guy. That's my school. But you know, if UGA does well, Tech does well, you know, I'm supporting them. If they down and out, I'm gonna still cover them and support them. So
Gotcha. I will
yeah.
say the Hawks is the only like because like I'm from Chicago, so I'm a big Bears fan. And I'm a Cubs fan, so
Oh man, you a Bears fan?
I can't. I'm not. I can't support, but like except for the Hawks. That's
Mm.
where I draw the line. I don't have an MLS team, so like yeah, I'll root for United. I don't know, you know.
Chicago Fire. I'm gonna be honest with you. Chicago Fire is trash. Like
Yeah, I mean
they
that's what
not
I
good.
heard, right? At least Atlanta United, we win, we're good. So
Yes.
I'll be like Hawks United, but that's probably it.
Yeah, yeah, and I know most people from Chicago they love their Bears and they love their Cubs, you know. And
Mhm.
I know this person, he was a huge Cubs fan for years, and I remember 2016 when they won their World Series. Man, that man acted a whole different way. I never thought this man would show his behind, but he did. But hey, it's worth it, you know. When your team win the championship, it happens. I was acting like that when United won in 2018,
It
you
was one
know.
of the best years of my life. It was like okay, so like personally that year sucked, but it was
Mm-hmm.
like the saving grace was that we won the World Series, right?
Yes.
That was just magical. Like, like it's that feeling, right? Especially Chicago, especially the Cubs, right? Like
Yes.
cursed team, right? So
Hmm.
it was fantastic. Now we can barely stay over 500, but we'll see.
Hey, at least y'all got one. Like the Braves, we ain't seen the World Series since '95, so it is what it is. You know, with we gonna win something eventually. Like you know, like I said, whichever team can hoist a championship trophy down Peachtree again. You know, hey, I'm going to it. You know, I tried to go to the Atlanta United parade, but
It's gonna be the Hawks.
like I hope. Hey, look, I hope it is the Hawks. The Hawks haven't even been in the finals at all. The Falcons, they've been to the Super Bowl twice. The Braves been to so many World Series. United, we won the MLS Cup a few years ago. So if the Hawks can make a finals run and actually win it, oh yes, that'd be good. Like I love to have a Larry O'Brien Trophy here in Atlanta.
Me too. Next season, I'm
Yes,
manifesting it. Manifesting it.
let's manifest it. Let's manifest it. That's correct.
I am. We were so close, and I think who knows? Maybe if we were fully healthy, but I'm not thinking like that. I'm just thinking future. Future's bright.
Hmm. Yes, we'll
What
get
about
there.
you?
You know, we'll get there. And Slink, he said they want to spend money and they want to win. So you know, we're gonna see what happens this off season. We know the draft is in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
So these next few months is gonna be very crucial for the Hawks and see what they're gonna end up doing.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what kind of moves we make in the off season.
Yes.
It'll be exciting for sure. My dog
Yes.
down.
So hey, I appreciate your time coming on once again. Let everybody know who you are and where they can find you again.
Yeah, so this is Jen Choi, director of impact and innovation for the Atlanta Hawks. You guys can follow me on Twitter. It's just Jen underscore Choi, CH0I. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was fun. It was nice chatting with you and talking some Atlanta sports. Yeah, I appreciate it. Keep rooting for the Hawks. We
Yes,
have
we'll
summer
keep
league
rooting.
coming up.
Yes, hey, I appreciate you coming on and thank you for everything that you're doing, also for the community as well of Atlanta.
Of course. And like again, we're just getting started. I can't wait to do more and go bigger and again raise the bar what we can do and provide for the community. So, yeah, well, thank you so much. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Hey, if you watching this at a later time, you guys hit us up in the comment section. Let us know what you think about the show. Also, I'm about to end this stream and start a new stream and talk about the Atlanta United coach, him being released today. So we'll talk about that for a little bit. But hey, if you're new to the channel, y'all already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out with Atlanta sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. As always, come holler at your hometown sports podcast. It's your boy The Don with an episode here on Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. Hey, y'all have a great evening, and I'll see y'all here in the next 10 minutes. I'm out. Peace.